Hey guys, my name is Matthew, and in this video we're going to be talking about the 5 best fantasy books of 2021. Here we go. Okay, a couple things about these books. First of all, these are all standalone books or the beginning of series. So none of these books are like book 3 out of 7 in a like none of that stuff. There are some trilogies in this, but they're always the first book if they're on the list. Cool? Makes sense? Second thing is, this is my opinion. If you don't like it, great. Let me know in the comments what your favorite books of 2021 were in the fantasy genre, and that will help out anyone who reads the comments, so you'll be helping out other people. Feel free to comment them. We want to hear them. Disagree with me? Great. All right, let's jump right into it. Number 5 on the list, Shadow of the Gods. This book is huge, epic world with lots of dangerous creatures. There's magic, there's treasures, and there's fallen gods. What else could you want? It's told from different viewpoints, 3 or 4 kind of main viewpoints, and it's Viking lore, I guess. Really well written. It's a great book. You're gonna love it. If you're into the fantasy, especially Viking fantasy, this is where it's at. Also, if you're a fan of Gwyn's work, this is a lot like his other work. I think you're really gonna enjoy this book as well. The Witch's Heart is a retelling of Norse mythology, I guess. It's got like Loki in it, but it's not like anything else like it. It's not just a retelling. It's like a reimagining of the story of Loki, and the story is heartbreaking. It was brilliantly written. I'd say especially the characterization in it was just spectacular. This was a book that I struggled to put down. It was like, man, I've got things I got to do, but I don't want to put this book down. This was absolutely excellent. Really, really well written. Yeah, amazing. Witch's Heart. Number 3 on this list is Shadow in the Ember. This is different than other books on the list. This is a romance. And this is like my second romance I've ever read in my life. I actually didn't know it was a romance going into it, and I didn't know it was a romance for quite a while going into it, because the world building, the characters, and the dialogue, I think, were just really, really, really good. I wish it wasn't a romance. If it wasn't a romance, I would literally read every other book in the series, because the author is a really, really talented author. Personally, I actually skipped over all the sexy scenes because I'm just not into it. But even without those sexy scenes, the book stands alone as an amazing book. This is a weird recommendation. If you're at all into romances and into fantasy, this is amazing. You're gonna love this. If you're really into fantasy, it's still so good that you could do like I did and just skip over the sexy scenes. Or if you're like, I don't care about the sexy scenes, I could read those too. Fine, this book's good for you. The book, like I said, this is a weird recommendation, but it actually makes my top 5 fantasy books that I read in 2021, which is crazy, because I skipped like a third of the book, just skipping over sexy scenes. The Library of the Dead has been on so many different lists this year, and I think there's a good reason for it. It's because it was amazing. A really, really excellent read. It took me just a little bit to get into it. The first few chapters were a little slow for me, and then it took off. This book was a trip. It takes place in Edinburgh too, which I really loved. I actually got to be in that city last year, so it was just amazing to kind of be back in that city again, but it was just excellent. So ghosts, libraries, friendship, adventure, you're gonna love this book. And also the book is dark, just so you know, but not too dark. It's not like gruesome at all. It's just, it had a dark theme, I think, and I really enjoyed that. And then one last note about this is it's a standalone book. If you don't want to read the rest of the series, that's fine. This book stands alone. The story stands by itself. Number 1 on this list is The Black Tongue Thief. The Black Tongue Thief is really, really interesting. This is going to be an interesting recommendation as well, but it is probably my favorite fantasy I read this year. So what makes this book so good is the main character in particular is so likable, so funny, so well written. I feel like I know him so well. This book has got thievery and imaginative magic and secret guilds and all those types of things. Great mythology and fun dialogue. The book was fun start to finish. The reason this gets a little bit of a, it's almost negative, but I don't think it is. The book is actually, upon like kind of looking back on it, it wasn't actually that well written. It's like the plot was some pieces of it were like but it was fun. It was, like I said, it was the most fun I had reading fantasy at all this whole year. And so that's how it got number 1 on my list, even though actually looking back, it wasn't that well written. It wasn't that amazing of a book. I couldn't help but say this is my favorite fantasy book of the year. With just a few hesitations, if you're really persnickety about good writing and good pacing and things like that, maybe this wouldn't be the book for you. anyone else who enjoys fantasy, grab The Black Tongue Thief. So this has been my top 5 fantasy books of 2021. If you enjoyed this list, please feel free to like and subscribe. We've got tons of content just like this coming out all the time, surrounding book reviews and book-related content. Thanks again for watching, guys, and as always, stay safe out there.